Welcome back, everyone, to the Caves Cats. Blah. That was the worst intro ever. But hey, welcome back to the Caves Cats podcast. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm right.
Today we are going to be going over Batman Dark Age issue number 2 or book 2, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, sir.
This cover, man, it's cool.
It's awesome.
I think when we talked about it last, like the first issue, I totally thought that this would be like stuff that pertained to like the Rogues,
Right.
like maybe like we'll see Firefly and like Poison
Poison.
Ivy.
Yeah.
But no, it has to be his time in the military, right?
Right. It's pretty
Because like
cool.
yeah, it picks up like pretty much where we left off. Like old man Bruce in 2030 is just like rewriting like his life out.
Right.
It's like every time, even last issue, like the narration for when like old man Bruce,
Mhm.
it's very like almost like philosophical about like life and all these things.
Right.
And like he's like, life is like a movie where the first half is all love stories, fight scenes, and car chases, and the second half is a man taking naps.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's why so many people insist on living in the past. It's just where life is kept.
Right. And if you
Um,
look at that board there, some pretty cool stuff. You see him with the JL.
yeah, him marrying like, is that Lois and Clark?
That's what it looks like. It looks like it's Lois and Clark.
He has a picture of Oliver on there, like
Yeah.
Flash, Howland, Diana, a brain.
Not sure what trolley is yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if each issue will open up and there'll be a little bit more added to the board each time.
Right. But we got to
He's
remember too, this is Batman recounting his past as he thinks he remembers it with his dementia.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe like as time goes on, like he'll have like memories of things and just like post it up.
Yeah.
And then it's just him reminiscing, and we pick up right out because the end of last issue, um, Bruce had gone out in the middle of the night to like just get out of the house or get out of the manor,
Right.
and he he pulls up on it's like what he thinks is like a mugging, like some guy like manhandling this woman, and he intervenes, and it ends up being Selena Kyle
Right.
and her man, and they were just trying to, they end up giving him the runaround, and the police get involved, and they end up like turning on Bruce and saying, "Oh, he tried to rob us, he tried to do these things, and I hurt us, so
Right.
they take him away." And then
And
like at the same
with his
time,
record, already.
yeah, yeah. At the same time, like he's thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna get out, no problem. It's not gonna be a big deal like every other time." But at the same time, like Wayne Enterprises has already established a new president, and they're kind of like trying to phase Bruce out and prevent him from taking over after he turns 18. So
Right.
like they end up just like pulling all support of the Wayne legal team from him, and so he just ends up in jail.
Right.
And he off the bat, like he's already assuming that he's like gonna get killed because he's just the son of a rich mogul in Gotham.
Right.
And he wasn't wrong, because that's like the first thing that happens on his 18th birthday is he gets jumped. But Bruce
Like
being
Batman, he planned for it.
right, yeah, he was already prepared for it. So he had Alfred send in a cake ahead of time, and it was like the cake is calcium hydroxide. It causes temporary blindness, and then the candle's made of paraffin wax, and it accelerates flames when it melts.
Right.
And then the metal tray. And so like it was
Yeah.
like he just like they're showing you like how smart and how like cunning he is from like even now, you know?
Right.
So he ends up being like escorted out and taken to like a random cell. We got a visitor,
Yep.
and it looked like it was General Lane
Yep.
recruiting him into the military.
Right.
So he ends up being sent to Vietnam, and
I
he's
actually
gonna be
like this next part where Lucius goes to Gordon to see if
yeah,
Gordon's corrupt or not.
he's like baiting him into it, which I thought was interesting because like from last issue when Lucius is like, I'm the vice president, so I can't have any say. Like I'm gonna waive my vote. Like my vote doesn't mean anything, and I'm not gonna participate in this
Right.
because one, they haven't really touched on it yet, but I'm sure it's probably because he has a relationship or had a relationship with the Wayne family.
Right.
So whatever comes next, he doesn't really want to participate in. So yeah, he was definitely trying to goad Gordon into like falling into the just yeah, like you said, testing him to see if he's corrupt or not.
Right. And
Which
he just basically tells him to get out of here. He's like, get
yeah,
out of
he's like,
here.
get the hell out, man.
I'm not interested in not like making sure that Bruce doesn't come back. I'm not interested in that. Get out of here.
Right. Right. And that's exactly what Lucius wanted to hear. You know, he just needed
Right.
to hear that like he wasn't out to get Bruce.
Right.
And then we cut back to Bruce being going into Vietnam. And he's under the impression that he's being like his job in the military is swimming instructor. But he was told it is now commando operations, which we find out exactly what that is in a couple pages.
Right.
But I I really like the character work for this, you know, because like right here it says out of the frying pan and into another frying pan, and maybe that's all life is, a view from a series of frying pans. And then like as Bruce gets onto the helicopter, his hat flies off, and he's like, my hat. Like it's there's so little dialogue, but
Yeah.
it's like I feel like it's like one of those moments where he has to realize like he doesn't have those luxuries that he had when he was in Gotham when he was a boy. He doesn't
Right.
have like chance after chance after chance after chance after chance to make up for the mistakes that he made. Like now it's like he has to grow up now and he has to learn like this is what life is.
Right.
So
It's
and it's a cool moment. I like that.
it's pretty cool too because I see a lot of people miss this one little thing that sets us off. I've seen a lot of people talk about this book and they don't mention why it's so wildly different. Like this is a Bruce that didn't go with his parents.
Mhm.
I see a lot of people talk about this book without mentioning that. They think he was still around when he got
Well,
when
no, I mean, and I feel like you only miss that if you're not reading the book at all because it's
yeah.
in like the first 3 pages.
Right. But that's like this whole thing spins out from that one thing. It's like if Bruce
Right.
did not go with his parents, this is how it would happen. And I like it too because it's still like even if that happens, fate still finds him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's inevitable that he'll become Batman, but also like we're seeing his path there like it's different, you know?
Right. Instead of him being so consumed with sadness and everything, he kind of lashed out in a different way. He
Right, right. He's arrogant, he's brash, he's careless, you know. He thinks he's above the law because he's always that's just the assumption that he made because he's rich.
right.
Um and then we finally get to like what his actual job in the military is going to be like what he is assigned to do. And it is commando operations, only it's not. It is like a super secret task force led by Ra's al Ghul,
Yep.
and it's got like he even says like it's this like the children of rich men or the sons of rich men, you're ghosts, like you're no longer men, and you're like some of you are children that people don't want to see claim their fortunes. You know, like so basically like the castaway like rich kids,
Right.
you know, didn't really have any other place because they were too much for their parents to handle, or their parents are dead, or what have you. Like it's just they're set to inherit these fortunes, and it kind of seems it's almost like a military thing to kind of get ahead of that and like get these people in on the government side, you
Right.
know, for when this next generation of like capitalist leaders will take over, which and I'm sure that's probably all going to play a role later on, like in finding out like what the false face society is doing, like with Wayne Enterprises, and who's we don't even know what's going on with like like with Oliver Queen's company
Right.
or even some of the other like big companies in DC in this universe. So like, and we don't know how deep it goes. Like Pariah could be working, you know, Queen. He could be working some of the other companies too.
Right.
Like, and we've barely seen Lex. I don't think we've maybe seen him like what Lex like one page maybe
Maybe.
the
Yeah.
last issue. Like I don't even maybe he didn't even show up in that, but like LexCorp's another one too. Like he's the same age as Bruce. I mean, most of the time, so it would make sense that he's young right now too. So where is he at?
Right.
Yeah, and that's just all stuff that I was thinking about while reading it. Like we have like Maxwell Lord, you've got Oliver Queen, you've got Bruce Wayne, but where's Luther, you know?
Right.
I mean, there
100%.
is a bald guy in this book, but I don't think Luther was bald back then, right? Like when he was younger.
No, he still had red hair when he was
That's
young.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But we
Uh,
see in the next page, we see that Queen is being trained with him.
yeah.
So, which is pretty
I,
cool.
I like this moment with like when they're like storming the camp for the first time
Mhm.
and he shoots the arrow and it hits the canteen instead of the soldier. And
Yeah.
then Rafe is like, "You missed, Mr. Queen."
And he's like, he can still die of thirst.
Yeah. I just like that. Like the first time we see him shoot a bow and arrow, it's just an absolute miss.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty cool.
like it's cool because they even talk about like not using guns, like and why they don't use them, which it falls in line with Bruce's philosophy of no guns, you know, like he
Right.
doesn't use them. So uh I'm interested to see if we'll see any of these characters that weren't like named come back, you know, like
Right.
in this task force. Yeah, I mean, and it's just and like honestly, like the next 5 or 6 pages is just them storming the camp, and then like just it's just a bunch of like narration
Right. And he
from Bruce
basically
Wayne.
talks about like how this is teaching him planning better. And,
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
yeah, and then they ended up. Let's see, like yeah, it's just planning and him like it's almost like his journey to become Batman. It
right.
reminds me of like Batman Begins, you
Yeah.
know, where it's
Yeah.
like he's up
Instead of
in the
him going
mountains.
abroad to like all these places, he
Yeah,
was trained at
in
right there.
Vietnam, right during the Vietnam War, and he was in the military working for this like super secret group. You
Right.
know, it was cool. I like this take because it
Yeah,
also like it makes the universe feel a little tighter too.
it
Like
does.
when you've got characters like Oliver and Max like working with him and having like they've trained together and they've had like similar background as they've grown up.
Right.
I think that's cool. So then like they ended up capturing one of the Vietnamese soldiers in an attempt to like interrogate him,
Right.
and they don't really get anything out of him. So Bruce like walks away, and then Raish like invites him over to play chess. And then it's interesting because like the dialogue that's here is like it's almost like Bruce wasn't 100% sure like what he was trying to say
Right.
because he's just like telling him like, oh, like let's play this like it's about politics. Like I'll just read it. And he says, "Do you want to play chess, Mr. Wayne? I don't need to play war games, sir. We've got the real thing outside. The chess isn't about war, it's about politics. Queens and bishops don't fight, they protect the path to the king. And their positions tell you all you need to know about the stability of his realm. A single knight out of place can doom the entire kingdom." Oh, never mind. I didn't even I must have skipped over these couple dialogue boxes because he literally said, I knew at that moment what he wanted from me. And yet, for reasons like I myself couldn't understand, I couldn't.
Right.
No, I'll try interrogating him in the morning or tomorrow again tomorrow. So yeah, I mean he did know. So it was just like Race was like being coy about asking him to like just kill him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we kill this one soldier, there's a chance it could make the rest of the kingdom like topple. So and that's not a trade that Bruce was willing to make. You know, like he wasn't willing to
Exactly.
take this person's life to destroy the entirety of the Vietnam government.
Right.
So they hit him with some discharge papers like real quick, man. Like the next day, he had him, he discharged him and sent him back home.
Right.
Uh, and then he ended up doing it anyway. It looks like he ended up just burning down the cities anyway in Vietnam.
Right.
So and it's weird to see like characters like I'm sure Max and Oliver are with him, you know.
Right.
So I wonder what kind of like reunion they're gonna have with Bruce, you know,
It wouldn't
and how
surprise me
Bruce
if
is
they
gonna,
all come back as costumed somehow,
yeah,
like costumed
yeah,
heroes, like
yeah,
to reacclimate from war into.
right. I just so badly I just need a Justice League book of this, dude. Just
You could
this.
right. Yeah,
Like, and I mean, I know that Russell has said that he wants to like go back and do a Diana one, right?
yeah, he did. But who knows? After that, he might be itching to do a Justice
Dude, that's
League.
what I'm saying. Like, if you were to just give me like a really solid line of books where it's just like each member of the Justice League,
Right.
like you know,
And
you
I
have
love this because it's an Elseworld, but it's not an
yeah,
Elseworld of what if this character becomes this, or what if this character turns into that
yeah, yeah.
character.
It's
It's
it's not like a Batman speeding bullets or
right,
like a Superman Red Sun.
right,
You know, like it's a pretty like I guess when you look at it from like a generalized perspective, it's pretty accurate to who Batman is, you know? Like it doesn't change the core of the character. It just changes like the scenery along the way, you know?
exactly.
So I feel like uh, I mean, I don't even need to feel like it. It's probably it's proven, man, like with this book and with Superman, if you were to give each of the Justice League a book like this,
Yeah,
it would be successful. I mean, shit, dude, like think about books like New Frontier
yeah,
from Darwin Cook.
right.
People love that book, man. It's incredible.
And this
So,
does feel like have that same kind of feeling of like New
yeah,
Frontier, Darwin Cookish type coloring, like it just feels
yeah,
like it, like,
yeah, and like and All Red just has that like classic feel, you
mhm.
know. So I don't want to say it's like it's a missed opportunity because the fact that we even have one, not just one, but two books from this line
Right.
seems like a miracle. But like with how well received Space Age was and how good this has been so far, I can't imagine that the DC wouldn't want to try their hand at doing a couple more of these
Yeah.
titles. They're good,
It'd be
man.
dumb not to tell All Red to keep going after Wonder Woman, right? So
Yeah, I would love that, man. Like I could just like who else? You could do like Flash, the Motor Age, you
yeah,
know, you can call anything. What would you even call like Martian Manhunter?
yeah.
You know, like it could who knows, dude? Like and it would be so cool to get like a Martian Manhunter noir story with this kind of like feel.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
I
That'd
mean,
be
who else could do? You could do Hal. You could do a Green Lantern book. Um, shoot, man. I don't even know. You could do an Aquaman series would be
yeah,
pretty cool, I think. Like a 6 issue Aquaman book like this. Yeah,
yeah.
it would be so cool, man.
I agree.
I don't
I
know what the hell you call
all
it. I don't know what you would call it, but like it would still be awesome.
yeah,
You know, like there's so many ideas that there's so many things that they could do with this.
right.
So fingers crossed they keep going. And then he gets back to America,
Mm-hmm.
and my favorite page in the whole issue, man, right here, is when he goes home and he's talking to Alfred, or he's or better for better yet, he's not talking to Alfred.
Right.
He says of all the things that had changed over the last 2 years, the most surprising was myself. And then Alfred hits him with there are other colors than black these days, sir. Perhaps some clothes shopping today. And he responds, I don't want to leave the house, Alfred. And he says, it wasn't until I got back that I realized I was uncomfortable in the daylight. What had I become? And yet, somehow, just by looking at me, Alfred knew. Stay as long as you like, sir. Or maybe he didn't know. You're home now. Maybe he just loved me, which made me feel as if he knew.
Right. And it feels so perfect with what I was saying earlier, how he's trying to acclimate back into normal society after all this. He's got probably PTSD. He doesn't really know himself outside of where he was just
Right. And not to mention the fact that he's never actually taken time to stop and process the fact that he doesn't have his parents.
right.
You know, because he went from just having his parents to not having them to being a rich, snotty little brat.
Exactly.
And when it finally caught up with him, he was thrust into war, you know, into something that he was not prepared to deal with. But he made it through, and it's such a good moment, dude. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, good
It
good.
just goes back to what Alfred needs to come back. He needs to
Oh,
come
dude.
back in main continuity. Alfred needs to come back because when we get Alfred moments like this outside of main continuity, it just makes you want that more. It's like,
Right. And like and I don't know, man, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's just something that's like just so pure
Hmm.
about seeing Batman have like moments with somebody that's like his father.
Right.
Because like how many times do we get moments like that with Superman and Pa Kent, or like Wally and Barry, like when Wally was younger, like, and I'm sure I could probably list examples all day, but like the one person who's that for Bruce is Alfred.
Yep.
So like there's some of my favorite moments in any Batman that I've read is anytime Alfred's like and he's like one of the only people that can do it too, is like strip away all the bullshit and just be like, are you okay, Bruce?
Yeah.
Like, and if you're not okay, that's okay too. I'm here for you. Like, and that's such good shit, man.
Yeah.
And now that Alfred's dead, we don't get any of that in current Batman, so we get it in stuff like this.
Right. And I love too that they're not doing the whole I cannot back this, Mr. Wayne. I gotta leave.
Master Bruce,
Yeah, I
Master
can't
Bruce, no.
yeah. I can't watch you kill yourself, Mr. Bruce. Oh, like
It's breaking my heart, Master Wayne.
I
I
hate that
failed
trope
you.
where it's like
I
Alfred's
failed
way too sensitive for Bruce's mission that he has to leave, and I hate that.
I failed you, Master Wayne. I
Yeah,
failed you.
yeah. Stop that.
So Ruby the size of a tangerine.
Right. Like, damn it, man. Like, Alfred's supposed to be a gangster, man. Stop making him.
Yeah, he's just a straight G, man. I
Yeah.
love it. So and then we go over to like Bruce is just kind of walking around the city and he sees a giant poster that okay, so like at the beginning they talk about how his dad has been funding this project called the City of Tomorrow. And the entirety of the project was to make Gotham a utopia for everybody to live in.
Right.
Like clean water, clean air, like minimal cost housing, like all of the things that would benefit society as a greater whole.
Right.
He sees false face society tagged all over it, and so he gets the idea to go visit Lucius, only to find out that the board canceled the project because they figured that there were better ways of spending their money instead of just improving the lives of everyone. Classic capitalism.
Right. Where's the money in that? Why would I?
Yeah, exactly. There is no money to be made in helping everyone. So instead, we're gonna pull the plug on it
Yeah.
and see what they can do to help our pockets.
Right.
And like he even says, like now we're making like riot gear, firearms, surveillance. Like that's what we're about now, is like policing the people with our tech.
Right.
Um, and so like him and Lucius just talking like real quick, and he's like, and then they pan over to a Batman suit or
Yeah,
like a
which is like
prototype
more like a
armor.
fire kind of. It's like a
Yeah.
fire suit, but it's Batman.
And then Bruce says, "So what's this?" And Lucius says, "This is how we fight back." Um, I also I find it very intriguing that Lucius has managed to stay like under the radar this long.
Hmm.
So I wonder how much longer this will last.
Right.
Because inevitably, I'm sure all of this is going to come crashing down for Bruce around probably third or fourth issue,
Of course.
and he's going to be like on. He's not. It's like the classic hero journey stuff, where he's gonna like he has his down, he has his up, and he's probably gonna have another down again before we get to the climax, and he
Right.
saves the day. But like I don't know, books like I like books like this because it just gives me like it kind of makes me think about like where it could go or what characters could be used in what ways that we wouldn't normally see in like main continuity.
Right.
Because like it's Pariah being that exact character is like from last issue he was like, I just need to run the company till 1985 and do what you got to do.
Right.
He had like such a different attitude, but in this he's just like going over and over and over about like, oh, how the world's going to end. That's like, oh well, the earth is disintegrating.
Yeah.
Entire universe is reduced into nothing. Like, and all the people are like, all of the board are like, hey man, are you okay?
Right.
Like, what's wrong with you? And he's just like, yeah, who cares? It's not a big deal.
Right.
Uh, they got more important things to worry about, like Bruce Wayne returning from Vietnam. So next page is them making a go at him. They send out some false face society members to go and put the hit out on Bruce.
Yep.
And I
Alfred, like
like
a G,
I
is
like
posted up with a gun too. He's
I'm
just like,
telling you, man, I was just gonna say that too. I like how Alfred's just like ready to go.
and I love it too that like like Jason Todd, like Batman will not let him kill, but like he
Yeah.
can't tell Alfred. Like Alfred's like, nope, I got the blicky, and you can't tell me shit about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously. Cool parallel too, because in that first issue, when the first time, it's just the gardener,
Hmm.
and they think that's somebody's there to rob them or to
Right.
to hurt them. So Alfred again sends Bruce up to his room and posts up with the gun. And only this time, Bruce says, "Nah, man, like go put it away. Like I prefer to trap mine."
Yeah. Now he's
So
like, now, now
it's
this is like my operation now. Like
yeah,
I'm,
it's a role reversal, and I
yeah,
like that. Like, I wonder how much of that we're gonna see in this because a couple times they've done that in this series already, and it's only two issues in.
right.
Um, so it's just, and this is like very like Batman Home Alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It,
So
it
like,
reminds me a lot of Year One, where he had
yeah,
to basically goad the police to get into a building to then like trap them in there with him so that he can get out of this
yeah,
building that's on fire. And it kind of reminds me of that, where he's just basically goading them to be trapped with him.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I it's just so cool, man. I just,
Hmm.
it's, it's so funny because the way that I'm feeling about this book, like now that because this would be like the end of the first issue of Space Age,
Right.
like give or take a couple pages maybe.
Yeah.
But like I think after that first issue of Space Age, I was like, this is gonna be like an all-time great
Yeah.
book. I'm kind of feeling that way about this now.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, and we're kind of at the same point in the story, like a couple issues in, 80 to 100 pages or so into the series. Like,
Right.
it's just it's just good. Like, it's just good.
Yeah. It's so
Like,
solid.
and I could sit here and just talk about it, pick it apart all day. Like the art's fantastic because I like Mike Allred and it has that classic feel. Or like I could talk about Russell and all the other stuff that he's written and why this is going to be great and why it's already great. But
Right.
like I don't even need to, man. Like just if you look at it or if you even read like a couple pages of it, like if you even read like just a handful of pages,
Right.
it's like every single page is good.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
not to
awesome,
mention Laura Allred, she just makes
dude. Yeah,
she makes like Mike
exactly.
Allred's art just pop, man. It just this would just look like a bunch of great pencils, but with her, she really brings life to every
Yeah,
page.
yeah, for sure. Um, my real quick, let's get through this part first. So like he like totally just puts the works on these guys, man.
Right.
Like takes them down real quick, bags them up, all but one of them. One of them escapes.
Hmm.
Uh, but who is this guy in the mat like with the messed up eye? Any idea?
I have no clue. Trying to think who has a messed up eye. Deathstroke?
Possible. That's very possible. Because we haven't seen any rogues yet, so it would make sense to kind of let this be the beginning of that.
Right. Could this be Slade? It could be. I mean, that's the
That's
only thing.
possible. Yeah. And that's a cool idea because then you can get a lot of like villains that kind of started out together. You could do like characters like Deathstroke, or you could do characters like Firefly or like Riddler, who have maybe all have kind of worked for this false face society for a while,
Right.
who have like they have some ties to each other. I don't know. I like that. It makes everything feel super tight and super like really really connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bruce just like literally just ruins these guys, and then he just throws them on the Gordon's doorstep. Man says, "Hey, hey, buddy, you can take them."
Right.
And the only reason I asked who that guy was is because he's here on the last page too.
Hmm.
And it's like it looks like one of the board members is talking to this guy, and they're talking about like, oh, like what happened, well, all he took all the guys down. It was just him. It wasn't a team of people. And then we pan over to that same poster of the City of Tomorrow that was tagged on by the False Space Society, and now has a giant bat tagged on it.
Right.
So this is like the coming of Batman. Like he's here, false face beware kind of thing.
Right.
Uh, Next issue,
Yeah, man. I was just about to say, we get,
Superman,
yeah, we're
baby.
gonna see Superman, and
Yeah, it's
that's
gonna
gonna
be
be
really,
fun.
really, really cool.
But besides that, yeah, I'm thinking that only person I could think of is Slade.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm still waiting for that Joker reveal. You said in that interview that he said it's like halfway through the book when we get that.
yeah, yeah. He said something like, "Yeah, we're gonna see basically a certain comedian that can't tell jokes at all come into the coffee shop, and once his jokes start hitting, he starts turning more and more into a
Yeah, the
joke."
Joker.
Yeah,
That'll be cool, man. Interesting take because it kind of falls in with that like he was a failed comedian and that's why because but it takes it a step further and it like it really drives home the point that he's like insane.
right,
It will at least because the plan is that like the more he loses his mind, the funnier he becomes, and then it's just kind of snowballs from there, right?
right. The less serious he starts taking life, the more
Yeah.
fun he becomes, basically.
I'm interested to see like how he's gonna be characterized. Like, is it gonna be more like modern Joker, where it's just chaos for the sake of chaos? Or is it gonna be like
I have a
he's
feeling it's going to be like, since it's like in the 60s, it's going to be very Cesar Romero, I feel like.
okay, and
You
yeah,
know,
that was gonna be my guess. Is it's gonna be more like he's literally just committing crimes and acting like an absolute clown. Like, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Which I hope that's the case because I'm so tired. Like modern Joker pisses me off like so
yeah,
much. It's stupid.
yeah.
You know?
It's because they make Joker to everything, but it's like he's just a flawed dude with psychosis,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now he's
Like,
been trained by the same people who's trained Batman, and he's.
I don't even so much mind the part where it's just like the Joker is an idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't hate that.
I
But
think it's
like,
more of like the Joker itself is a sickness. It's a sickness that he can spread via Joker fish, via laughter, via whatever he needs to spread it. But it's a
yeah,
sickness. He's very
but like
sick.
right. And I think that that's like I almost feel like that's taken the wrong way most of the time when writers try and use that.
Mhm.
When they try and be like, oh, it's just like it'll spread. Like that's just it's who the Joker is. You can never get rid of him. It's just, you know. But and then they take it literal and be like, well, let's make the whole world the Joker
Yeah.
and make everybody laugh. And now they're all the Joker
Right.
because of gas.
Yeah.
And it's like the first time, okay. But the second time, the third time, the 27th time, the
Yeah.
500th time, not anymore. It's like, give me any, like, or kill the guy, kill him, kill the
Right.
Joker.
Well, it's either you get that or you get people saying, "Oh, he's not insane. He's actually too sane.
Ugh. Or
He's
you mean
so sane that
super
he
sane?
yeah.
Dude,
He's so
super
sane
sane,
that it
super
drives him
sane,
insane," or
super sane 3 Joker.
yeah. Like what the
Super sane Rose Joker.
Yeah, it's silly, and I don't like it because you can't have him be all three things at once. You can't have him be this mastermind, close to Bruce prep time guy, while he's also insane, while he's also, not all there in the head, while also making him super sane. It's like all of Joker's history completely just contradicts itself right now in main continuity.
I mean, which like I guess if you're looking at it from the perspective of who the Joker is, it's fitting.
Sure.
You know, it's an absolute chaos. His continuity is, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I just and maybe it's because we've been in like this Joker era
Yeah.
where it's like every year we've had like a Joker book or two.
Right.
You know, we had the Joker movie. We're getting the Joker 2 movie. He was in Suicide Squad. He was in the Justice League movie. He's been in like every animated project that they've done in fucking 10 years, man.
And then we just got
Like
Joker Year One, and we
Joker
got
Year One, like yeah, like we had three Jokers. Like we had Joker Man Who Stopped Laughing. We had Joker. We had another Joker. We
we
had
had
Joker.
Joker War. We
Like, and I feel the same way about Batman. Like it's just it oversaturates the market so much that like if it's not mainline or it's not like overwhelmingly good, why in the fuck are we writing it?
yeah.
You know, like if you I like try to do a quick like I think for June, I want to say that like almost 30% of the books that DC's releasing in June are Batman.
Right.
If you drop that shit down to like 15%, and that's like I don't know, I think the total number of books that they're putting out in June is like 60 or 70, maybe. So 20 of those maybe are Batman. If you drop 10 Batman books in a month and you put other characters for those and in lieu of those other Batman books, it's a no-brainer, man. People are going to probably read those other books, but you have so many goddamn Batman titles on the shelf that nobody cares. That's how I feel at least.
Yeah. It's true.
And it's hard to keep up with continuity. But that's our Batman rant. Go read
Yes,
Dark
sir.
Age. Don't read anything else Batman right now. Dark Age.
Yes. That's the best. This is the best Batman title we got right now. For
All
sure.
right, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Later on, guys.
Peace out.